Hey, all you little dummies out there. This is the head, big, cold-blooded dummy coming at you with a new video on the world's sexiest GT 650. And there's Little Red Fox. Hey, Little Red Fox, what you doing down there? Oh, I don't know, Daddy. I'm just hanging out waiting for you to do your video. All right, guys. So what we got going on here today is we are doing some tire, wheel, and chain maintenance. But first, let me show you what we did here. We got our bike all jacked up in the air. So we are using Venom paddock stands. And of course we've got our bobbin pins right down there. And then on the front we have the cantilever, and it has the pin up underneath the triple tree. And that way you can get the whole bike off the ground, and you can get all the wheels, so you can spin everything and you can clean everything real good. Same here in the back. So what I do to get this thing up in the air, especially if I'm by myself, because we all know these GT 650s are they're top heavy. So when you're balancing, trying to balance the bike with one hand and trying to get the paddock stand on the rear to engage, that's kind of a challenge. So what I do is I take my little scissor lift and I just stand up the bike up, and then I raise the scissor lift until it comes up and just starts to support on the bottom of the sump guard. And what that does is that stabilizes the bike in a vertical position. And I tried one time to jack the whole bike up using just the scissor lift on the bottom of the sump guard, but that's a lot of weight and there's not a whole lot of support on that sump guard. I didn't like that, so I backed it off, and it's just too much weight with hardly any support. But if you're just gonna use the scissor lift and get the bike so that it's stable, then you can come to the rear and you can get the rear paddock stand engaged and get it up off the ground. And then you're going to come to the front and you can get the front up off the ground. And once you get these paddock stands, the bike up in the air, the whole bike is super stable. It's not going anywhere. And this is also going to make it easier to do oil changes, because you can get the entire bike up in the air a little bit, and then you can get to the drain plug and you can get your drain pan underneath there. And then also, if you notice, you can come down here and the bike is basically, it's in a vertical position and it's level. So you can see the sight glass. It's all perfectly lined up so that you can get a real good view of how much oil you're putting in. Okay, so what we did here today was we cleaned the wheels, we cleaned the tires, and we cleaned the chain. Okay, so the products I use are, for the wheels and tires, it's the Meguiar's Hot Shine tire coating. And what that does is you spray that on the tire as you're rotating the wheel, and you just kind of mist it on the tire, And you know, you're going to get some overspray on the rim, but that's okay, because that's going to give that rim a nice deep you know, I'm not going for like a wet look, but I'm going for like a satin look. So if you notice, I also sprayed down the center grooves with the tire shine, and then I moved to the rear. I did the same thing in the rear, and you want to let that soak in, okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to protect, it's going to clean and protect the rubber. And then you just come in here with a rag and you just start wiping it all down. And you don't want to have any, you don't want it to be glossy or anything. And what I do is, after I'm done cleaning the wheels and the rims and the tires and everything, I wait about an hour before I take it out for a ride, because, you know, now you've got stuff on your tires and you got to, you know, be careful and whatnot, and don't go carving around or anything until you get the wheels, until you get the rubber worn back down. But if you notice here, it just goes right down and it wears that that tire shine right off there. Okay, so the other products I'm using for my chain are, we got DuPont chain and sprocket degreaser, and then we've got the DuPont chain saver, which is a wax base lube. Okay, and what I do is I come to the rear and I spin the wheel and I spray right on here. I spray the degreaser and I spin it around several times, and you just want to get a little bit on here. You don't have to lather the whole thing up and make it all messy. Okay, so once you get that on there, then you go back with a rag and you just wipe and wipe and wipe. Okay, you want to get as much of that degreaser and grime off of there as much as you can. Okay, and then what I do is I start the bike up, I put it in gear, and I let it, I kind of spin up the rear wheel and let any of the remaining chain cleaner fling off. Not much, but just, you know, just let it fling, let it spin up. Okay, then you shut down the bike and you wipe it all down again, the chain. Okay, then you're going to pull off the front sprocket cover, and you're going to get in there and clean everything and degrease everything and wipe it all down. Okay, then you're going to get the chain wax, and you're going to get in here and you're going to put in a coating of wax on the, as you're spinning the wheel, you're going to spray a coating of wax on there. And you don't have to lather it up, you know, just a little bit goes a long way. Okay, then once you get that all done, then you come back through and you wipe and wipe and wipe. And you want to get as much off as you can. Okay? And then what that does is, you only need enough of the lube to get into the O-rings. You don't need to have lube, you know, coating the whole thing, because what that's going to do is it's going to collect dirt and grit and grime from the road, and then it's going to be like a sandblaster. It's going to chew up your chain and your sprocket and everything. You want that chain to be nice and clean. Okay? Now it still has lube in there. I mean, it's not, you know, I didn't take away all the lube, but if you notice here, there's no fling. It doesn't go all over the place. And then when you pull the cover off on the inside, there's just minimal sling inside there. So that's what we're doing today. And another product that I've been using is Mother's Chrome Polish. So we got Mr. Clean So she's got a chrome tank. So you just put a little bit of that on a paper towel, and you can wipe down the tank, and you can wipe down the pipe, the muffler pipes, and the muffler. And I even used a little bit on this aluminum, even though it's not made for aluminum. I mean, it shined it up. It gave it, and it gives it a protective. It says advanced protection, so it gives it a little bit of protection from corrosion. And then just take a microfiber towel and go along and just buff everything. So there you go. Now we're cooking on the front burner. All right, all you little dummies out there. This is the head, big, cold-blooded dummy, signing out. Hey, Red, are we signing out?
Oh, yeah, Daddy. We're signing out. Later, Gator.